Hello and welcome back to the Next Act podcast. I'm joined today by someone who's truly one of a kind. He was a linebacker at Central Michigan University, played in one of the premier mid-major conferences in college football of the MAC. And now he's the Lansing area City Pulse top of the town best personal trainer for 3 years running. He's the CEO of afitnessapp.com and has trained countless athletes around the greater Lansing area. Ladies and gentlemen, Abdullah Muhammed. Abdullah, thank you so much for taking the time to allow me to into this fantastic new facility today.
Right. I mean, it's not new, but upgraded.
It's renovated.
Right, renovated.
It's got that new Abdullah touch to it.
Everything. We wanted to make sure we get every wall.
Mm-hmm.
Get our own touch, our own image on every wall.
For sure.
I mean, and I just kind of get rid of the old, bring in the new.
Mm-hmm.
That's the plan.
Oh, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm excited for this conversation, so I want to get right into it for sure. Now, we've with every sport, there's kind of these little details that all the athletes fall in love with. So, for example, with basketball, for me, it was the swish of the net, the sound that comes from that,
right.
The squeak of the shoes on the court. Exactly.
Right.
So what about the sport of football made you love it and want to pursue it at the college level?
Well, be honest with you, at first I started out as a basketball player. And before that, I played every sport. But my dream was basketball. But then I wound up being on varsity for track as a freshman.
Okay.
And then I'm like, in football, I never had, the success at football because I always was a team player in football. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And the other sports kind of allowed me to be individual, track, I was by myself. Basketball, I would just guard the point guard.
Right.
Take the ball from him and go, I'm serious, and then just, D up.
Mm-hmm.
But then in football, to win, I always was on teams before I got to 10th grade. I was always on team, and I had to be a support role, because, we had a bunch of running backs, but we needed someone to be a fullback to block for those guys. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we needed someone to be a tight end, or we needed someone to be the blocker.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I wind up growing a little bit, and then I stretched out. And sophomore year, my parents shifted me from East Kentwood to East Lansing.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the first year I didn't do AAU basketball or summer track. I only lifted to get ready to transition with these new guys because I didn't know who these guys were.
Right.
I know who was going to be on the team.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew I had to be ready.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I was moving and I wanted to play varsity, but I didn't care, and I just wanted a chance to play varsity.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I wasn't going to be able to play varsity at 138, 140 pounds.
Right.
And that's what I was when I was a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
I felt I needed to be about 160. That's 20 pounds. I can't do that, run track in the summer AAU track and then do that and play AAU basketball as well.
Right.
It's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So I devoted myself that summer to training only. And it paid off, Keaton. And it literally paid off. I wind up at East Lansing before school started that year, Labor Day weekend. But we would have 2 games before Labor Day. Then we have our third game, that Friday or Thursday. It'd be that Thursday of Labor Day. And then I'd be game 3. So I wind up I already had a full ride scholarship offer,
really?
To a D2 school. It was Youngstown State, and then it was a couple other, first week after I played. I wind up starting as a sophomore.
Okay.
So I trained all summer, transferred schools, had prove it. They moved me to varsity. And they told me they wanted me to play running back, try for alpha running back, but right now we're in defensive practice. So they're like, we're going to put you at this cornerback position because this is open. But no, it was offensive practice, but we on offense now, so let's see if you play running back.
Okay.
So I wind up starting at running back and cornerback as a sophomore. And after 3 weeks, I'd already had 1 D2 full ride scholarship offer.
That's pretty good.
After 4 weeks, I'd had a bunch of more. I remember after 6 weeks, I was 3 weeks into the school. They sent me to go see my guidance counselor, and she was like, we got to get you ready to play college football, so we're going to make sure you eligible and all that stuff, And then they looked at my transcripts, and I was a good student, and I got the grades, so the offer just came in after that, and I just stretched out to 6 foot, so I was 6 foot, 162 pounds as a 10th grader, and I only finished at 172 pounds as a senior. because I didn't, I wound up running track, and I didn't need to get any bigger at that point. I just needed to get stronger.
Right.
And so, it paid off, but then I just devoted myself to hard work because I figured the only person who can stop me is myself if I quit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always just created that plan. Then more guys joined me, and then we started training. And then so you asked me what drew me is like I didn't love football. Football loved me because I put in the work.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yep. Fell in love with the grind of it, the process of it.
Like Kobe said, you fall in love with the process.
Mm-hmm.
The process is to win. And the winning is not the scholarship or to win the game. No, that's the positive. That's the bonus.
Mm-hmm.
The positive is you say, you know what? To get to this, I need to do this, and this. And then you do it. And all of a sudden you starting. That's the win. Now, everything else, if you can bring your team together, then you can actually formulate a team win.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? But I'm always the person that I believe in, creating your own destiny through consistent grind.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you don't put the work in, you can't win. Okay? So now you got to put the work in, then you got to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't believe in yourself, it don't matter if you come train with me, get shooting training with Bird, go get, conditioning training with someone else, go get speed training with Claude Hogan, got the best nutritionist, your parents will pay and support anything you do. No. And you go out there and you don't even believe that you go out and score 7 points a quarter. Guys never score 30. Mm-hmm. Ever.
Yep.
Seriously, but if you got, and then I believe you got to believe more than your ability, and sometimes tell yourself, shut up, for real, like man, you got this.
Yep.
Abdullah, you going against Ben Harbor, man. Abdullah, you going against freaking Godwin High's #1 team in the state, Vince State Championship. They got all these ballers, man. You got these guys are good. Nah, you got to tell yourself, shut up, man. I'm going out there and I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yep.
And then what happened? You didn't even know. Y'all cut the nets.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't that. See, people think that you cut the nets that day.
Absolutely not. Some people do. A lot of people do.
Everyone understands.
Yeah.
You don't cut the net that day, Keaton.
Absolutely not.
The net is cut when, what's that bad knee dude? When he come over to court one, what's bad knee dude? I forgot his name. But he came to court one. He was training with me, you, and Riley.
Yeah.
He was a hooper with y'all. Your senior year. Bad knee. I don't know his name.
Oh, Kian?
What was his name?
Kian? The one that went to Williamson?
Yeah.
Kian.
And he...
Kian Shepler.
Yes. But...
My dog, Kian.
But it started then. That's when the grind started.
Absolutely.
And then when we get there, now we bring a couple more guys on, and all of a sudden you look up, and you start now, we believe.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden we get a couple games in the season, we're like, wait, we can do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, from there, it's like, man, shut up, man, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you win.
How did you, belief is obviously a huge component of that.
Right.
And how did you deal with self-doubt as it came in? Because inevitably it comes at one point or another.
Didn't have time for self-doubt,
really?
Bro. I was moving too fast. I was so stupid that I didn't even believe that I could fail.
I'm
serious.
I believe it.
Bro,
I believe it.
Moving so fast that people ain't on my level. I'm too past them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like now it's meaning like the guys I'm hanging out with, they moving that fast too.
Mm-hmm.
You look at where all these guys are at. These guys are running their own businesses, doctors, lawyers, freaking overseas, everything. My guys that I was with in high school, we're winning.
Yeah.
Because it was a winning culture.
Mm-hmm.
Our coaches, our teachers, our professors. I mean, everything about that we did, we won at it. We had sit-in as ourselves, as a student staff, because we wanted Martin Luther King to be a holiday that's celebrated at our school. I didn't even know what was going on, but I thought it made sense, so I supported it.
Mm-hmm.
Every year after that, they got the day off. And then they allowed them to do stuff around it. And it was more about teaching, everybody around you. So it's about winning. And like now these guys are all prominent figures in society.
Mm-hmm.
And people ask like, how? Bro, because we all had focus and vision.
Yeah.
But it was contagious, man. And we didn't want to hang around guys that wasn't trying to win. Like
right,
that.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that, like, at everything we do, we were very, very competitive too as well. But that's the problem that I think really what it comes down to is, and here now is not that many people allow criticism.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the only people that I know will criticize a kid in front of his parent. About if it is not up to me if they decide to come back or not.
Right.
It's up to me to help that kid at that particular time, and I may have to cuss that kid out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
and to help that kid along on this journey. Obviously, I'm not trying to go out and cuss a kid out, but
Right.
at the same time, I'm not going to be afraid to cuss a kid out to lose a kid.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to do what's required in that situation in order to get him better.
Well, at the same time, you got to stay genuine, and you got to also do it with love. You feel me?
Yeah.
Now, if you go out and go choke a kid out and like body slam him and put his face in the dirt, I mean, come on.
Right.
What's going to happen?
Right.
You better watch your back.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so that's where, sometimes to get the kid, you might have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at this, far as self-doubt, even now as a business owner, you got to you're looking at multitudes of many, many, many things, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to I always looked at things just weird, but I looked at things way different than people. People look at this as full, but I'm looking at it as completely different. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And so what I mean by that is I'm looking at the winning probability, Keaton. I don't care about nothing else. To me, is what's the win? The win might just be getting possibility to train somebody, or have my credentials up there to be nominated, or in even a process of being able to be selected. That makes sense? So I don't care about getting the job or care about succeeding or winning the championship. None of that matters to me.
Right.
You got to look at things as far as in small markers and say, you know what? And that's how I live my life. Because, everything is on a checkpoint. Now, my kids don't like it, my wife, because sometimes I transition still as trainer dad or trainer here into family life, and I'm very, very hostile, right? But that's who I am. But then when you ask me this, and I'm like, I don't care about how I can go out and I can lose, but I hit every benchmark that I wanted to. I don't care what everybody else think about what they consider a win and a loss. That makes sense?
Yeah.
I'm about doing.
I'm
the guy in the arena that's doing the damn deed and doing all of them. You know what I'm saying? And I need help and I ask for help, but I'm not the type of person that even criticize people. You know why? Because I'm too busy. I'm the janitor. I'm the person that's at the front door. Now I got a front door staff, right? I'm still the janitor. I'm the person that support everything, builds everything, make sure things is fixed. If I need the walls fixed, I'm not gonna wait on my landlord. My place will cave down, right? I got to do it myself. Then I invoice the landlord as a business that's servicing my entity.
Right.
It's just how it works, So I'm looking at things. When I walked into this place, I envision what we see today. That makes sense?
Yeah.
With the right equipment.
Yep.
And so from there, it was like, how can I now allow everybody? See, I see this picture on the wall. All the pieces is scattered, okay? But people don't see the picture the final picture until when? Until you bunch all of them in each corner together, get the corners built, and you got your little logos in. Now you just need the fillers, right? And once you fill it in, and then you bring it all together, and then you snap, snap, snap. And they're like, oh, man, that's sweet. Nah, bro, that was sweet 2 weeks ago when it was still apart.
Right.
Because I saw it today, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that's how you got to get people to understand. Like, people only see today, and they're only judging things, for what they see today or what they only can envision.
Yeah.
And I'm not. And I never have. It's like, man, I can get this kid to do this, this, and this, but he first have to do this.
Right.
Believe in himself. And then from there, we got this, this, and this.
From there, you can build on
boom,
that.
Boom, 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 boom. So the first win is what? Know thyself. Now we got to figure out a way to figure out how you can convince yourself that you're good enough to do whatever it is. Apply for law school, apply for med school, not apply for school at Michigan.
And it just bleeds into all the other aspects of your life.
Period.
For sure.
Because now you say, well, you know what, I got to do this. But you're not going to be naive. No, you just got to believe that it's possible. Once you figure out that believe it is possible, from there you say, okay, well, shoot, okay, I'm here, right? That's our weight. Our weight is this, 178, right? But also our weight can be, guess what? I just formed my LLC, and I got $5,000 in the bank. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's our starting point. No matter if we're tying it to training or if we're tying it to business, our starting point is here. We already envision where we want to be at.
So then you just have to plan out the steps to get there.
And then you got to be able to be confident and happy where the damn cars fall when they do. in that spirit.
Yep.
And you got to also know that you put in all you got.
Exactly.
And it don't matter where you end up because you already won.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people don't understand.
Yep.
And that's when, for me, it's like, okay, all right, you got to get to 138 pounds. You need to do this. That's easy. I just got to get you to believe you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if we take this 2 weeks instead of that hesitancy in the middle and just be straight on, boom, 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 it always happened for them, man. I'm just telling you flat out. Every single kid, I've trained over 1,000 kids that's played college sports, period, right? Every single kid that's came in and trained with me before they finished their 10th grade that had to put full out potential to play college sports, every single one has played.
Yeah.
College football is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one.
That's awesome.
Every single one. Every single kid that is trained with me from 7th grade to 11th grade has played some form of college sports.
That's awesome.
Now, remember, only 7% of the kids play college sports that play sports in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that for a second.
So that's a pretty good percentage for you.
Well, it's based on once, but it gives me enough time to get them to, guess what, Keaton?
Believe in themselves.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy. It seems like a key ingredient for a lot of things, and I definitely want to come back to touch on that.
It's a key ingredient for everything.
Absolutely.
But the problem is these kids have been doubted, been pushed, been shoved aside for so long that they don't have that belief in themselves or even know themselves because they clouded with all this other BS, social media, Twitter, Instagram, followers, clout chasers, God knows all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Some kid would rather advertise that he is a POW. I call it prisoner of war, but advertise that he's a POW, preferred walk-on, at a D1 school instead of just going to a D2 school.
Mm-hmm. And where they're gonna get reps in a lot of time.
That is crazy
make a
to
name
me.
for themselves there.
That doesn't even make sense. You're gonna PWO at a D1 school. And I'd rather you go to a bigger, better school and get a better damn piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense to me. And so that's me, having more faith in kids' ability and their smartness than them.
And do you think that the belief could be, if a kid were to want to take a preferred walk-on spot instead of a D2, do you think that belief that they could be one of those kids that earns their way into a scholarship spot, do you think that would be a part of that equation for them in terms of how they kind of evaluate those two opportunities?
I mean, you look at it two different ways, Everything is based on probability, obviously, and your belief in yourself, right?
Yeah.
But then it comes down to what's more important and what's winning.
It's true. Kind of what does winning look like for you in that college career? Is it going to a D2 school and then having all those accolades, or is it being that in that position at a potentially higher spot?
It's to be real with someone.
Okay.
And it's to tell someone that I'm a guy that got a degree from Central Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And so did my wife. And we can count how many times we've been back to Central Michigan. You know how many times? Every time they invited me.
How many times has that been?
A few. And I've been an honorary captain.
Oh yeah, that's right. Back in 2016.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I got season tickets to Michigan State. I go to Michigan State for the games.
Yeah.
My kids are Michigan State fans.
Mm-hmm.
My kids have been to Central Michigan twice. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I'd went to Ohio State, guess how many times I'd been there?
Probably a little more.
Every home game. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If I'd went to Kentucky, guess what? Boom, I'd have been there.
Yeah.
So my thing is this. So I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But you got, regardless of every situation, I think you got to be looking to yourself at 40. I think all kids owe that to themselves when they're getting close to 20. I ain't talking about 15-year-old. I'm talking about a 19-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20. Those guys got to be looking to 40 and see where they at and see if they online in line at 50% in line with being successful and happy at 40.
Yeah.
And if you're not taking care of your future self.
Mm-hmm.
And I think kids owe that to themselves.
Which should be the end goal, honestly, because I mean that's who you're gonna be.
People say
working into.
That's what else are you doing?
Right, exactly.
You're at the starting point that you know, and that's thyself today.
Yep.
And the end point is 40 years old, you. Then there's 60-year-old you.
Yeah.
Then it's 80-year-old you.
Mm-hmm.
We're checking in, man.
Yeah.
And these kids get mad at me when I move into that. We're checking in, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You not setting yourself up to win at 40.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're selling yourself too short. Or you don't think this game is going to get harder. Or you're not putting yourself in a position to win.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't lining in together. We not lining in together. You're like my op. It ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be, guess what? Consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Beef. You know it.
Yeah.
Every time I see certain people.
If you don't have the same vision, then it's gonna be hard to.
Every time I see certain
to
people, you know. Every time I see certain people, it's always what? Instantly.
It's just button heads.
And usually that person is selling themselves short in some way. It ain't me. I'm holding them accountable, and I have a higher vision for them. You know what I mean? And people think that, I'm not like everybody else. And we just be happy with somebody's, a little bit of effort. No, I want all of it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I got $3 and a wife and a whole bunch of other shit I can be doing right now, and then being here with y'all ass right now. If you ain't giving me everything you got, get the fuck up out of here, man. Straight up. Because it ain't about the money for me. It isn't. It ain't even about the awards for me.
Right.
It's about me doing what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do is greatness. You feel me? So if you ain't on that, get the hell up out of here, dude.
Right.
And don't tell your parents to call me, because I know how. One thing I do know how to work on this iPhone is block.
You know what that block button is?
I know how to work that, man. And do not disturb. So, but man, my thing is really, like you said, just the self-doubt is really based on the environment that these kids are put in at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
And some people put their kids in environments for it to not be difficult. And some people put them in environments that fits at their appropriate, mental and physical capacity. And some people always put their kids in just a little bit better, make them elevate beyond that middle pack to whatever it is, whether it's smarts, intellect, training, skills, sports, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But we're looking at, we need this culture to advance their kids a little bit more, put a little bit more pressure on our kids.
Definitely.
And I think that's the loss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking even 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, man.
Yeah. No, it's tough for truth hurts sometimes. It can be very blunt, can smack you in the face, and a lot of times it's what you need to hear if you're gonna, like you said, if we have that baseline and we want to go forward, there's gonna be a lot of confrontation, because Kobe Bryant would do that all the time with his players and guys that he was leading. Like he'd rather have an uncomfortable confrontation in order for them to push past an issue and get to that shared goal than to just leave it unsaid.
Well, he also know that in each game, mostly in the NBA, each game you're gonna have some type of moment, whether it's early in the game, whether it's late, whatever, that is you're gonna have to get over it.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna also have a moment where that other team gonna get the best of you for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that moment can't last to another moment and another moment. And now all of a sudden you look up, now we gotta fight down. It's about. It's like I was trying to explain to my wife. Like, my wife's a school teacher, so she's only programmed for boom, right? And the thing is certain people are programmed for in the moment processing and future processing. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
And they can do them both, like a dual, you know? And so that allows them to train multiple people efficiently, right? Or it's also allowing them to circle in on someone, and then that person's ability and that person's emotional, ability, right? And so you can kind of tune it in or tune it down. You feel me? And some people can't do it. They can, they're one-track person. They can only focus on this, bang, 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 bang.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I look more to kids' ability to process in the moment. So my thing is, I'm more, screwing with the kids' mental training in the moment, as well as we are focusing on the future goals in the training.
Mm-hmm.
Mental moment, training future. Now, some kids, based on how they're wired, that gets the best of them at one, where then the training, they can't focus, and all of a sudden the training, guess what happens? Boom, boom, boom.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Yep.
Then they learn the process, tune them out, hear the positive,
Mm-hmm.
focus, breathe,
Yep.
process.
Just working through those initial thoughts in the moment that could be potentially getting the best of them.
Well, potentially. That's
Or
what
it is in the moment.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're talking about, a lot of kids, you're talking about dating and, being in and out of emotions based on a text or a burp or a chirp on their phone could change their mood swing drastically,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So now I'm trying to train my kids to not allow anybody to get you too high or too low.
That's awesome.
And even if you do, it's got to be internal grit
Mm-hmm.
that then still, that's the long-term grit.
Yep.
But now we still got to
You're able to process in the moment.
to move through without people now, because that one person say they see them like, then they turn red and then they start to teary eyes and then all of a sudden they throw their phone. Now that person knows that person is vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a world, this is prey world.
Yeah.
Then they come over, hey, you all right, everything cool? Now you, hey, Kurt, give you, now you the prey.
Mm-hmm.
You're not, there's no genuineness whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because it's the initial thought
Mm-hmm.
was what count. You
Right.
feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's the initial count, the initial thing. No matter what happens through it, it's that initiality. And that's what it's hard for me. I'm an emotional person, so it's hard for me to get through that because a lot of these kids, they never really can get themselves to be in the right moment
Mm-hmm.
for training because they can't get through the torture phase.
Yeah.
So
No, I feel you.
you feel me?
I do.
So it's like to me. It's like it's too hard. It's too hard for me to get them to process these shit. They're 11th grade right now, or they're 10th grade. I'm training these 8th graders that I've already moved past that. For this past year. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the energy goes to those guys.
Yep. All right, so now I want to get back and kind of talk about the end of your career as a football player. So in kind of the days, weeks, and months after your final game, what were the kind of emotions and thoughts going through your head? So for me, after my last game and kind of leading up to my last game, it hit me a lot harder than I thought it would. Just mentally,
For real?
it kind of messed me up a little bit, just because that's something that I had done 4 to 8 hours a day for the past however many years, and then I knew that it was coming to an end, and then I didn't really know what to do with myself. So what kind of emotions were going through your head after that time?
Honestly, none. I was already over it. And so, I already knew my purpose at college. First off, I never liked working for people. I never had a job really ever, ever. I always, in my head, I always worked for myself or created a job or figured out a way to go and cut the grass, make some money, or shovel the snow and make some money.
Yeah.
Or, I go and trim someone's house and, make some money. Or I go and cut the grass, cut the weed. You feel me?
Yep.
And then as I got a little older, I started to figure out ways that, I'll train your kid. I'll do this, And then it was just, once. But when I went to college, I started training me and my little freshman group, right? When we first got to school.
Mm-hmm.
And at first the coaches was training us and I was like, man, this is some bull training,
Yeah.
Because when I entered into CMU as a freshman, I was in the top 10 overall as far as bench, squat, clean, deadlift, right? And then once I got to redshirt freshman, I was in the top 5, and because there was a lot of guys that was hurt, whatnot, they couldn't do deadlift. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But regardless, that shit ain't got shit to do with me.
Still there.
I hit my numbers, bro. I took my top. I was 9th, and I was a true freshman. I was only 178 pounds, man. That's all that I cared.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I knew that I was going to win.
Yeah.
So I'm 9th right now as a true freshman, and I'm redshirting. I'm like, bro, by the time I'm the spring ball,
gonna be blowing everybody out of the water.
I'm not saying even that, but 1U11 is giving me a spot.
Yeah.
That's all I'm serious. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, one of y'all is giving me a spot. I never get. I stood up in there. I was like, one of y'all giving me a spot, and I'm telling y'all now. And I'm Orange Army. I'm going against the starters, and I'm balling out.
Yeah.
Then we had the coaches change. We had these defensive coordinators come in. Now it's like, bro,
that's a whole new game.
Everybody's on the same playing field now.
Same level playing field.
I'm 215 pounds. I'm not 180 no more.
So you're already passing the eye test with the new coaches.
Come on, bro. I'm top 4 now.
Exactly.
380s. I was a monster.
Exactly.
Right? and it was the only thing left is to decide that I'm moving from safety to linebacker to claim a spot. That's what I did. And so, you know, it was always, for me, it was, I didn't care what these was doing. I only care about what I was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you know, you look at just wanting to win. It was, I never forget, it's like, if I can get to 210 pounds, I'm starting.
Yeah.
It's like 30 pounds muscle mass increase. I'm already top 9 as far as how big I'm, you know what I mean? And it was just boom, and it happened. And then you get paid off. But that was the same thing, paid off when I trained in high school right before I transferred, and I showed up, and I was 160 pounds, you know, from 140.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, dang, this dude's ripped. Then I go hit 225 for 10. They're like, yeah, you know, but I didn't do that as a 10th grader.
Right.
I was only benching, actually, I was only benching 35s and 5s on each side.
Okay.
But I was hitting it 10, 10, 10. Then I put on the 2.5 with the 5, 10, 10, 10.
Yep.
Then I put the 45s on, 10, 10,
Just
10.
kept progressing.
Oh, by the end of the summer, I was benching 225 pounds for 10. This diet work, to me, it only made sense. I had 52 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, makes
2.5
sense.
pounds, do the math. 2.5 pounds
just-
times 52 weeks. That's a 100 pound bench increase.
Yeah.
I'm at 125 right now. I know this time next year I'm going to be at 225. The only problem, I got a lot stronger throughout the process. I started working on my back, and I started watching my body shaping and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was over with.
Yeah.
And I started studying.
Yep.
Then I started processing. And I knew if I put this work in, I'm going to have some type of result. Guess what the result was? I'm starting both ways as a sophomore. All of a sudden, I was like, if I'm starting both ways as a sophomore, I'm going to be starting both ways as a junior, because I'm only going to get bigger, stronger, and faster and quicker.
Right.
Then I showed up to these camps, and it was a wrap. And I went and played, and I got there. I knew if I got to this, you know, because I lived by myself, and I was in high school. And so I wasn't eating like I was, you know. That's why I went over with the eyes and I eat with them a lot. But, dude, people don't understand. You got to have goals, and you got to be nonstop persistent, and you got to have a razor-sharp focus. And I had that when I was a kid, man.
I love that.
I don't even know how. I mean, I do know how, because my brothers, I had 3 brothers, and one was extremely successful when he was young in the business, and he's now extremely successful in business now. Then I had 2 brothers that went the wrong way. And they got super, super trouble, wind up going to prison, getting in a lot of trouble. You know, so I had a prime example of what not to do and what to do. And I just chose what to do.
It's a matter of which one you were going to choose.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to own my own gym when I was like in 9th grade. And so I always wanted to help kids get to college that was like me, that wanted to get to college that didn't know how. You know, and so I studied and trained and like taught myself and like seeked out the right people for help and guidance, you know, and I wanted to kind of be that person for other kids, you know, and then I wanted to, you know, be able to build my own facility where I can like be my own boss, because I never forget it, man. I actually had a job working for the state for like probably, I want to say 2 months out of college. And I saw a guy, I come in, I'm working hard, and this guy's older. He wound up losing his job. And he, you know, and they just decided today that, you know, in my eyes, I saw they decided that his whole future was going to change with their decision. Because some young guy come in and work, you know what I mean? I worked this guy.
Yeah.
And I never wanted that to be me. So I quit. I wanted to get a raise I was making $32,000 a year, and I wanted $45,000. I wanted to get a raise $45,000. They're like, can't got no money, da-da-da. Then eventually I was like, I went out and started packing my stuff, and I told them I got 2 weeks, and I'm already 2 weeks ahead in work, so you guys can pay me, and I'm just going to show up and chill, right? And then they eventually tried to find me, give me some money, and I was just like, I'm out. And at that point, I decided I was going to be my own boss and open up my own gym. And I never forget it. This happened in like October, and I had graduated the previous year, and then I'd already quit my job that I had on for like 2 months, right? I go to my family, I never forget it, and I'm at Christmas dinner, and we're Christmas dinner, and I was told them, I was like, I'm going to be the best trainer in Lansing. I'm opening up my own gym, and I'm going to have the best gym in the state. No, I didn't even tell them that. I said, I'm going to be the best trainer in Lansing, and I'm going to work at the best gym in Lansing. I didn't tell them it was going to be my own gym. I had like $200 to my name. Yeah. You feel me? Literally. But I spent all my money because I thought I had all my baseball cards. You know, I was going to use them for leverage for cash flow. Someone stole all my cards before I graduated. Over hundreds of thousands. Like, I don't even want to
That's
talk about
crazy.
it. Like, all of them. I'm talking, I had Michael Jordan rookies.
That's terrible.
Kobe's rookies.
Oh, my
Shaquille
God.
O'Neal rookies. Chris Webber rookies. Ken Griffey Jr.
That's crazy.
Ken Griffey Jr. rookies. I had 2 Barry Bond. I mean, I only collected specific cards.
Yeah.
So I'll get a whole deck and I'll trade them in for a card that was worth $1,000. But what I trade them in would be worth for like $3,000, right? But I know this one card being worth $1,000 was only going to go up if that guy made it to the Hall of Fame.
Right.
So I just bet on all the statistical guys and their injury history based on the Hall of Fame, and I won. But someone stole all my shit.
Dang,
bro.
that's crazy.
Yep. And I wind up finding out that someone sold them all for, it was like $58,000. Dude, this was in 2001. Someone sold all my cards for $58,000.
Back in 01.
They're worth all my cards at the time was worth over $300,000.
That's crazy.
Now they're worth over $3 million.
I bet.
Right? But it had just got me. That had got me to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? My business now is worth over $3 million. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I believe that there was something that I had to give up in order to get.
And go through that process to get where you're at now.
Well, the process of losing everything without losing it by having someone take it.
Yeah.
So for me at that point, I didn't carelessly, because I'd probably wind up buying a bunch of equipment and I'd have failed in my business. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't have been ready. I mean, there's no reason that you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I swindled a lot of kids for their cards. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm being honest. I take cards that was worth, say, $50, and I trade them for a card that was worth $50, and then all those cards would be worth $25 in like 6 weeks, and that card would be worth $700. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Because then you get pulled up into the major league. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, I knew it.
That's just doing your research.
True, but it's still, I'm getting over on my friends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I even befriend people to swindle cards from them.
Wow.
But I never stole a single card. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never stole anything in my life. But at the time, I never stole a single card. I never even, in my eyes, I always thought it was a fair deal because they took the damn deal.
Right.
Because it was their favorite shit, and it was a ruler card that they wanted that I was able to swindle and get through my trading that I then upsold through their own want for that card to get what I wanted, which was a more valuable card in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And so I won, but then someone took all my.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we say that. I literally just only found, I gotta show you this. So my mom found these cards, and so I just keep them here, man. These are the only cards I have left. Look at this shit.
Dang, get the penny
Literally.
in the draft hat.
These was the cards that we actually had put away. That these are specific cards that are worth a whole bunch of money.
Gosh.
Because these are probably worth the most money in this gym.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, a whole collection of these too.
I had thousands.
That's wild.
I had over 1,000 Michael Jordan cards.
Oh my gosh.
And they were all his first 2 years in the league.
That's nuts.
My collection of Michael Jordans was worth $150,000 in 1998.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let alone right
after he
now.
won all those championships.
Right.
Now that itself would have been worth. Yeah. Stole them all. But that to me it was a reset, right? You know what it did? It made me get creative, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it's about using my creativity to get the things and use ingenuity through my training. I never really had much equipment. I never had this much equipment in my life.
Yeah.
But it allowed me to use my ingenuity to help people get through guidance because that's all I used when I was training. When I was a kid, I didn't have this equipment. We just trained, you know? So
we've talked about your first act as a player, kind of talked about that transition afterward. Into your life as a trainer now. Well, first act as a player, now your next act as a trainer. I remember the first time I started working out with you. It was at Court 1. Riley was there with us. And you said you put out a box jump. You said, all right, get on it. Yeah. And I'm like, this is way higher than I've ever jumped before in my life.
Higher than you ever envisioned yourself
Exactly.
Jumping.
And so from that point on, I knew when I started training with you, I was like, all right, I have to be ready to bring it physically, but also mentally, I have to be ready to push past whatever limits that I knew I had.
Way past.
And there were so many times where it'd be at the end of the workout, you'd throw 235 on a bench. You're like, all right, we're doing 6 of these. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's at the end of the workout. But lo and behold, I was able to do it. And so there were so many times where You taught my mind and my body that there were so many. Exactly, the attempt is what counted.
Right.
But there were so many times where I was able to push past what I thought I could do because you were like, all right, there's one option, and you're gonna do it, or you're gonna get hurt because this box is made of bricks. And I'm like, all right, I guess I have to get up on top of this box.
Period.
But how did you cultivate that kind of limitless mindset? Was it one event, or did it gradually build over time as a player?
Again, it comes till that summer before my sophomore year, man. Now I was a wrestler, jiu-jitsu, I did all that stuff, and so it was never something I was ever scared. I had 3 older brothers, so it's not like I didn't get my butt whooped on when I was young, and I had to fight my way through stuff. But it comes down to, you saying to yourself that this is what I want, and it's not over until I win. For me, it's like I pulled that out and slept on that couch many nights.
Yeah.
Because I didn't accomplish what I wanted to accomplish the day before. So I needed to wake up and within 5 minutes be back to working. And I can't accomplish that if I'm at home because it takes more than 5 minutes to drive here, right? So the only way to do that is to work throughout the night, pass out on the couch, and when I wake up, I'm right back to the work within 5 minutes while I'm letting the coffee make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just how I'm programmed.
Yeah.
And so I asked my dad, have I always been this way? And this is like relentless mentality was how I was when I was a kid. I wanted to play football. My dad would say, well, okay, you do 20 push-ups, I'll let you play football. I know I can only do 3 push-ups. All right, every day.
Ready to get to work.
I cheat nonstop. And I'm like, Dad, I got it. And I'll never forget, I only did like 18. And then he was like, you know what? Let's go, man. You ready? He's like, you ready.
He saw you get to that point.
It didn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like 5 days. I went from 3 to 18. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Let this dude do what he want to do.
Right.
And then from there, it's like, I'm going to go do what I want to do. And if that means I got to do this, I'm pushing through, man. Then I'll get there. Then I'll rest at the end. So it's like, you got to be fearless, man. Period.
I hear you.
I mean, it's the only way you're gonna win. I don't care how you look at it. You gotta be fearless, and you can't care what anyone's saying, not even yourself, and you just gotta focus, razor sharp to the end of the goal.
Yep.
And I preach that to the people that I train. I preach that to my kids. But that's what I live. That's how I roll.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that.
Just the genuine part of how your brain works and who you are.
That's why I'm also attracted to a lot of kids and a lot of people that are successful entrepreneurs or business people or the bosses of their business or entities or whatever they run or operate, and the kids that are alpha dogs, man. Period. Because, the relentless approach has got to be something that we are doing daily. There's not no switch you just turn on and walk into this gym, or you walk into studying for this test, cramming the night before. That's not going to allow you to be the greatness.
Yeah.
It's not going to do it. So you got to have that in you, no matter what it is. And you also got to know, again, your thought process on what winning is, and that's just going out and attempting to do it because you're not comfortable itself could be the win, regardless of the outcome. It's the initial thought.
Yep.
No one's gonna stop me. I'm doing this.
Right.
I'm not scared. I'm not afraid. I'm doing it. And then stepping up to the plate and then performing, that's something different. You got to at least do it first to even be able to put yourself in a position and know what it's going to take to win.
Exactly. No, I like that a lot.
So that's how I roll.
Yeah.
And that's how I always roll.
No, I like that.
And if I have to go out and attempt to do something, and show the kid, I'm usually not asking somebody to do something that I know I can do. Physically, personally.
Right.
You feel me? And so it's always like, all right, I'm going to have to show this kid how to do it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
No, I like that a lot.
But that's how I look at it, man.
That's definitely been my experience with you. Because we started at an athletic club training there, and then we moved to your own first facility within that kind of office space. And now you're out here running your own facility, which is even bigger. So
bigger.
How important is that aspect of having a vision when you're working toward a dream? I know we touched on it a little bit earlier, but how important is that initial vision?
See, again, it's not even about the vision first. It's more about acting upon what you're supposed to act upon. You feel me? And I just believe that God passes you or whomever you believe in, to me, that don't even matter. But I believe people have things that they are supposed to do, period. And if they don't do it, sometimes whoever they believe in acts upon them and gets them to do it for some other reason, right? But I believe that everybody has some type of greatness in them that they're supposed to give out to other people, right? And so if you don't actually believe that, then you don't do nothing, right? And it could even, you just be a school teacher teaching kids how to read, right? Or you can be a trainer teaching kids how to train.
Yeah.
But you can also be a kid that writes books on social media. You can be a kid that talks about how toys or what not to buy for toys on YouTube and make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But a lot of kids watch that shit and then don't buy those toys because they suck.
Right.
And that emotional strain on those kids can be worth it.
Yeah.
And that also surprise moment watching that kid open those presents for that kid can be his mental stimulation, because that's all a present is, even if it's in front of you or not in front of you, is the anticipation of being stimulated on a want or a need. You know what I'm saying? If you ever got a Christmas present from your parents and you really didn't like it, it's hard to take away that face. Like, damn. You know? But if you initially don't even care, just happy that they get you something, don't matter what it is, you're going to be happy and give them a hug and a love and a kiss.
It's true. Yeah.
If you want some bougie ass oh man, you know, you don't, at that point we know your ass is not mentally, emotional, sustainable by yourself. You're still growing. You feel me?
Right.
People don't understand that. I was a philosophy major in college. So for me, it was a whole different approach. I was also a business major, but philosophy is more about learning people. Processing, mind, how it works, how it gets people to stimulate. You know, this is like the Matrix. I know when I open this right here, that this is not a piece of fruit candy. I know that, right?
Right.
But what does it do for you at the particular time?
It gives you what you want.
At that particular time.
Right.
But it doesn't give you what you want. It gives you the what?
The stimulation that you're looking for.
Exactly. That's when it's all about mind control. So if you can control that thought process, then you can control everything else that you do. Yeah. No matter what.
It's true.
People don't
It's
understand.
a very good point.
So I go to my wife 5 months ago in front of my whole family. We drive into a soccer game, and I'm telling everybody, I'm like, okay, in December, before January, I'm going to upgrade the facility into a massive training facility. They're like, what? I'm like, well, it's going to be about $250,000 worth of equipment. My own family laughed, like, come on, man, you dreamer. Yeah. I was like, okay.
It's all right.
I said, I'm also going to be wearing my clothes only. My own merch, completely, right?
Yeah.
Only.
Yep. A-Fit drip only.
Every day. I'm going to also have an NIL student and multiple stores selling my stuff in the storefront, period. I'm not going to tell you how many, but I know I'm going to get up to 33 stores at some point. Yeah. Why 33? Because that's the number I decided based on the routes that we can work. And they're like, okay. I said, I'm also going to be a strength conditioning coach in college before January. They're like, Dad, you got a lot of big dreams. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to have another facility open or at least sign before January. I have 2 spots.
Love that.
Right?
It's that vision.
But I also have some parameters based on this, and this. You know, another one was, you know, I was going to buy myself a car. If I hit this, and we were going to wrap it, you know, with the logos, whatnot, you know, and just shh. So then after everything's done, I had one last goal that I wanted to streamline everything, right? And so we're all in the car again. Now everything's done. Driving in my brand new Suburban, right? Yep. Driving. You know what I do? I told him that I was going to mark this, and we recorded the video. So on my loudspeaker on the car driving, start playing what I told him. And my little daughter goes, check. check. But see, this is the thing. No one envisioned that for me. No one envisioned that for me. I was resistant to partner with every single person. Well, I didn't hold the same vision I held. I was resistant to go with any type of investor. I felt I was going to be doing all the work. Didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I knew I had to play the long game. 10, 12-year process to get what I wanted, to then be able to then want to, now from there, you open up 5 gyms in 6 months.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows you can do it. Everyone sees the blueprint. Everyone knows now you're making money. Oh, now I want to, well, if you didn't even invest or believe in me then, why am I even going to work with you today?
Right.
Doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
So you just move forward, man. And you can't be looking at validation from anybody except your own self. You can't be in a competition with nobody except improving and getting better at what you are doing and what you are putting out and giving people. You can't be focused on nothing except winning and helping people win. Everything else don't matter, man.
No, I love that.
Not to me.
I love that.
So.
Well, we're kind of nearing toward the end of our time, but I appreciate your conversation, your wisdom, without a doubt. I also want to take a second to acknowledge you for the accomplishments that you've made over the past however many grinding years that we've talked about.
Right.
But also for working with me in so many critical seasons and summers. I remember the first time was in between my junior and senior year of high school, and you helped me put on 15 pounds of muscle. And even when I would come back from college, oftentimes you just let me drop by, get a quick workout in, get what I needed to do. But then also for the impact you've made, not only on me and my mentality, but also on people of so many ages from our hometown. And I know the impact you'll continue to make on others. So just wanted to acknowledge and thank you for that.
That's what we do.
But is there any social media you want to plug or any causes you're associated with?
I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm more focused just to get the kids out the street, get the kids in the gyms, get the kids on fields, on the turf, believe in the kids, believe in themselves, and anybody that ever watched this shit, believe in yourself, and everybody got a little greatness in them. Just keep grinding, and don't listen to critics, man. That's it. Social media, clout, all that stuff. I don't even care about that stuff. I mean, I really don't. I have someone now that runs all that stuff for me, but just focus, man. I got those books over there, and like me, I try to read like just one book, even if it's just one page a day. Just to get yourself away from that whole screen. I think that's all I'm more focused on. Get kids out of the house, get them moving, get them healthier. Move from there.
Love that. Love that.
Move from there. Besides that, chilling, man.
That's awesome. So there's 2 questions that I ask every one of my guests. The final question. So the first one is, what does a life well lived mean to you?
Life well lived means you serve your purpose. Your legacy carries on past you. You build something, that's going to allow you to help people and inspire people past your time on earth. That's a life well lived, and in my eyes, and actually helping a lot of people get to their goals and their dreams, while helping you get to your goals and dreams. I think that's the way we all as a people should live, for sure.
No, I like that. Well, then that kind of leads into the last question is, how do you want to be remembered? Both by the people that you're close with, but also by people that might just come in for one workout or just someone that interacts with you. When they think of Abdullah Muhammed, what do you want them to think?
Honestly, I'm not worried about that. I'm actually going to write a book, though.
Really?
I wrote a book, 33 chapters it's called, and I liked it, but I didn't like it, so then I have someone that's helping me rewrite it. But I'm more or less focused on, honestly, just inspiring people to be greatness, and I don't need no credit for it. I don't even need people to come, and tell me thanks. I'm more or less focused on them coming and telling me thanks is, showing up, and training when they're in town.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And me getting more stuff for them to, like Poe Jam came here and they love Poe Jam. This is my guy.
Yeah.
Literally.
He's awesome.
When he get married, I'll be there. You feel me? It don't matter what it is, unless my daughters are getting married the same day.
That's fair.
Then they get married next to each other. So that's out. You feel me? But I didn't have enough weights for him to lift.
He's a beast.
And it wasn't even that. It was just that even if I did have enough weights for him, then it would be where, he the only motherfucker that can live.
Yeah.
So, I was like, all right, man, I need to look out for the future of, I know eventually I'm going to have a bunch of kids that's in the training, getting ready for the league,
Yeah.
that. And I want to build something that they can be at,
I feel you.
I want to build something that my daughters can, like, not necessarily because they all want to do their own thing, but, that their kids can come to. Me, I'm looking at multitudes of, franchising different routes. So it's just I want to build stuff that's going to survive the test of time. I don't care about money. I just wanted to survive forever, you know, and be able to help, like this gym we're in. My vision of this gym strictly focused on something that I wish I had when I was in high school that I can come to. I train with my homies at the school. Boom, I'm over here after school. Or I'm over here in the morning. Then I'm with the school team after school. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
But I wanted to be able to get into a grind situation, be able to utilize my skill set on the soccer field or the football field or the turf field. You understand?
Yep.
Be able to have a powerlifting area, be able to have a plyo area, be able to have an Olympic area, be able to have a dumb, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Be able to use the cables. I don't want to be the only one to be able to use the cables. You might want to use the cables.
Right.
She might want to use the cable. I need a machine. I got 6, 7, 8 cable machines. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so that was like, that's how I looked at it. Because I don't need nothing.
Yeah.
I'm successful. I'm a personal one-on-one trainer.
Right.
I don't even use all this. But I know that now with bringing in a new membership, people can come and train for $40 a month as a whole household.
Yeah.
That's going to bring in more people. They're going to use all that stuff. I could train my clients in this closet. I do a lot of one-on-ones through Zoom now, But I also know that this equipment can help a lot of people here.
Absolutely.
This facility is going to help and have helped a lot of people, and it wasn't even upgraded like this.
Right.
So now, imagine if I helped 1,000 kids get into college, right, in the last 20 years. What's the next 20 years going to be when I got 15 of these facilities?
Right.
Let's try to get 10,000 kids in college. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
I love that.
That's how I roll.
That's a legacy.
That's how I roll.
That's how you get remembered. But
hey, listen, I got kids bringing their kids down to me that when I first got out of college, I worked out with
That's
in
awesome.
2001, 2002, 2003, 2004.
That's awesome.
That's 19, 20 years ago. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I'm training this little 8, 9-year-old and his dad. I trained when his dad was a senior in high school. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
But that's how I roll. I don't care about what everybody else do. Yeah, they can probably wind up giving me these trophies until I decide that I'm done training. Right?
Yeah.
But that ain't my fault. That's why I gave out those keys to everybody. I
Right.
gave out 500 keys. And so I'm going to at least get another 500 votes.
Right.
Now I'm giving the keys for the whole household. That just gives me another 2,500 people into my membership, right?
Yeah.
And into my database,
Yeah.
right? So guess what? You say, how do I define win? I already won.
You already did it.
I already won the 4th trophy. You know why? I wrote out my promotion campaign for a year. Guess what the first thing we're going to do? We're going to give 500 keys away every month. We already give away 500 keys in December. We'll give 500 more keys away
500
in
more.
January. You understand? That's going to be at least 1,000 more votes. I got 8,000 votes.
Yeah.
You don't think someone's going to beat me. It's going to take them.
They have to grind like you are.
No one's trying.
Exactly. It's just securing it.
I'm here at 3:30
Yep.
a.m. I don't even know what time it is right now. There it is.
But yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Abdullah Muhammed. If you're still listening this far, appreciate you. And let's make sure the best is yet to come. We'll see you on the next act.
Peace.